Hey guys, welcome back to We Met at Acme. I'm so excited to be here with the one and only Chelsea Handler. Hi.
Hi.
So happy to have you today. We
Thank
always
you.
start with the same question. What is your favorite romantic gesture?
Oh.
Like for someone to do to you or for you?
Um. What is it? It really depends who the person is because some romantic gestures don't land the same way. Like, I once had I wouldn't think that I'm someone who loves flowers, but I'm dating a man who always brings me flowers every time he sees me, even if it's like a little flower or an orchid or something. And I find that to be very romantic.
That's really
But I've had
romantic.
boyfriends that have sent me dozens and oodles and noodles of flowers that I'm like, stop sending me flowers. I'm not into flowers.
Right.
So it really kind of depends who it's coming from.
Well, maybe that's also about how you feel about them.
Like, I think what it is this. I don't want 24 roses.
Yeah.
I want a little flower.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like,
So
don't overdo
when it's
it.
big, it makes it's not an ick, but I'm embarrassed a little bit for them.
It's too much of a grand gesture.
And definitely not as an apology. I don't like flowers as an
Right,
apology.
no, those
no,
are the
no,
worst.
no, no,
No,
no,
no.
no, no.
And yeah, I agree. The big amount of flowers, it's like you're doing too much. It's just too much.
I also something that I find to be romantic or sweet. I don't know if it's romantic. This guy that I'm dating always like pulls my hair out of my face. Like when he's talking to me, he like moves his hair so he can see my face.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be very cute.
Oh, that is so hot.
I
That
like
is
when-
like
yeah,
textbook hot.
Yeah, I like when men touch your hair.
Totally. It's
Not
like
not braid it, but
no. And honestly, not pull it. I don't like. 'Cause I don't have
No.
thick hair, so
no,
I'm like I
don't
needed
pull
that.
it.
I
Definitely
needed
don't
that
pull it.
strand. Yeah.
Yeah. And the little like there's very sexy little micro things that men can do
Mm-hmm.
that I find very attractive.
Okay. This is controversial. How do you feel about a man sitting like I am right now?
I like that. When a
Mhm.
man sits cross-legged, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the ick from that.
I feel like it depends on the man.
I think it's cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely gives. I am confident,
Yes.
but
And self-assured and comfortable in my skin. I like that.
yeah, okay, we're aligned on that. And you kind of alluded to it, but if you're open to sharing, what's your relationship status?
My relationship status is that I'm always open and available for an adventure,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm currently having one with someone.
Okay.
Yes.
And was it easy to meet this person? Just like for the
It
single
was.
ladies
It was very
listening?
natural. Yes.
Okay.
We just met through friends, and
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I love that. Sounds like a great guy. And you just wrote this amazing book, I'll Have What She's Having. I loved reading it.
Thank
I
you.
can't believe you're turning 50.
I can't either.
I need all of your doctors.
I know. Believe me. I'm like, my friends are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It could be anything."
Yeah.
I take so much shit. I do so much shit.
Yeah.
But I never thought I would obviously be 50. I have never felt, first of all, stronger. Like my body is the strongest it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew, like I spent my 20s having an eating disorder, exercising like compulsively and psychotically,
Yeah.
all to achieve this body that I was never able to attain. I have the body that I wanted when I was 20, when I'm turning 50. Like, that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous, and you look ridiculous. Can you
Thank
tell
you.
us how? My 20s are gone, unfortunately, but how can we do that? Let's say we're in our 20s or 30s now. How can we do that and skip? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just wasn't so disciplined. First of all, I have a lot of help. I take peptides. I inject shit all the time. You know what I mean? Into my body. Every morning, I take like 5 peptides.
Yeah.
And I exercise all the time. I mean, not all the time. I work out, usually 5 days a week, like weights. But weights are really actually the key to being
I
strong
think so
and being
too.
lean. I'm the leanest I've ever been because of lifting weights.
How much are you lifting?
A lot, like 30 pounds, 40
Okay.
pounds.
Yeah,
For a
yeah.
girl, it's a lot.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I lift the same, and I was worried that you were going to be like 250, and then I was going to be like.
But
I'm
sometimes I
screwed.
do lightweight exercises. But the important thing is just to always, like, I do all of the stuff that I hated doing. I thought I could just jog and get the body I wanted.
Right.
And run on a treadmill for an hour or a Stairmaster, and I would just automatically get abs. And, and I ski a lot, and I have to be strong for that to
Yeah.
prevent injury. So it was kind of, it's a perfect combo of things,
Yeah.
like I to ski, you have to be really strong.
Right. And skiing in itself is an amazing workout.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not actually. Once you get good at skiing, it's not that much of a workout. It's when you're not good at skiing that it's a workout.
Oh, so that's why it's one for me.
Yeah. I mean, because you're basically skiing down a hill. I mean,
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
If you're doing moguls all day long, yeah, that is a workout. But it's the other stuff that I surround the skiing with, like getting my body ready and doing tons of squats, all the exercises that I hated when I was in my 20s.
Right.
Plus, I've been working out with Ben Bruno, who's my trainer, for 10 years now. And when he met me, I was a little plumper, you know. I had a little extra meat on me. So, and he was like, weight training. I was like, I'm scared of weights. I don't want to get bigger. It couldn't be less true.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, you immediately lean out when you lift.
Yeah, weights are it.
The muscle burns the fat.
It's so true. And going into this book a little bit, what made you want to write it? You've already written amazing books. Your first book was so fun for me to read. Like it was,
thank you.
and I'm a reader, but at the time I was like,
yeah, my books in the beginning were for people who don't read books.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean they probably still are. You know, I mean
they were gateway books for me. It was amazing, and this book just feels like it's deeper, and you know it's a really good feel good book by the end. You're empowered, and what made you want to write it?
Well, I got this book deal. I was having a very public relationship with Joe Coy, who is a comedian, and I was in love and couldn't stop telling everybody about it, you know, and we were both very public about it, and so I was contacted by my editor about writing a book about falling in love, because if I was falling in love, that was unexpected, and I was so happy and positive and spreading all of this positivity, and it was people loved that, and it was a big story. And so she said, do you want to write a book about falling in love? And I was like, oh yeah, that's so something I would never thought I would do.
Right.
So I was interested. So I got the book deal. We agreed on that as a topic, and then we broke up.
Yeah.
And then she was like, do you want to write a book about breaking up and handling it in a way that you haven't handled a breakup before? And I was like, maybe, let me think about it. And then I just thought, as time went by, that's not my story.
Yeah.
That breakup isn't a book. That breakup is part of a book or a chapter in a book. It's not the book. So I wasn't going to do that. And then I just had to kind of, ruminate and think, like, what is this? What do I want to say? And this is, there was a moment where I was like, I'm not going to write anything. Let's just skip it. And like, I'll give you your money back. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then I thought about it, and I was spending time in Whistler, and I've changed so much, and I've had such a big kind of evolution spiritually, being a woman, being in my power, just becoming happy, like finding happiness and joy in almost everything I do. And I thought, there's something there that I want to spread, like I want to infect other people with what I've learned. Yeah. And so that they can accomplish that kind of be less fearful of everything. People always are like, you're so fearless. It's like, no, I'm not. I have the same fears you all do. I just tackle them. I'm into tackling fears, but in a more relatable way, to go how I've gone about my life and how I've created the life that I wanted for myself as a little girl. Like, this is exactly what I had hoped for myself. This is exactly what I imagined. I mean, and I wanted to just empower women to know that you have a choice in how you behave and how you see the world and how you act in the world. And that if you get on the right track, which is like all about, there's so much joyfulness to be had. If you are positive instead of negative, if you are supportive instead of competitive, if you are all of the things that make you a really well-rounded person. And it took me a long time to get there. And so I wanted to share that because I want to always inspire women. I feel like I'm here for women in life. Like my purpose is to be a big sister and a woman that people can count on and reliable and a truth teller. Yeah. And I want to just spread that.
amazing. And it really comes through in the book, like,
Oh,
beyond belief.
thank you. Oh, good.
And-
Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
And also, just like, what are your things that got you to this point, kind of? Like, you mentioned, I was listening to your podcast episode with Heather McMahon, and you mentioned a book that you read, like something Hawkins.
Letting Go by
Yes.
David Hawkins.
Yes.
That's a great book for
And
anyone to
so-
read.
Right. So, like, let's say it's the combination of that book, therapy.
Yes.
Are we into therapy?
Well, I don't go to therapy currently, but
Yeah.
I'm totally into therapy. I
Right.
went for a very concentrated period of time for 2 years, nonstop, and then I wrote my last book,
Mhm.
Life Will Be the Death of Me, after that experience. And then I had time, you go through therapy. Therapy is like such a thing because you get the information,
Right.
then you have to digest all of the information,
Mhm.
and then you have to apply the information to your life.
Right.
You have to change your personality, like your person. You're not changing your personality. I don't know if that's possible, but you have to change your behavior.
Right.
And so it's not like, it's like it's a long, arduous road. And I did that. And then with time and growth and reading, I read everything I can read,
Yeah.
as much as I can read, I read. But Letting Go by David Hawkins is one of the most impactful books I've ever read.
You influence me. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, you got to read it.
I think I need to. What would
It's deep.
Yeah,
It goes deep,
I'm
and
ready.
It's like very metaphysical.
I'm ready.
But-
Did you ever read what's the is it it's not
Many Lives, Many
no,
Masters.
that one, but there's one, Untethered Soul.
Yes, I've read that.
That one I feel like
Yeah.
really got me. I was like, oh shit.
Okay, well then this is even more deep than
Yeah.
that. Like that
Mhm.
is true too.
Mm-hmm.
All of the books are the same, right? All
Right,
of these
right.
self-help, spirituality
Yeah.
books are the same. But when you talk about energy and your field of energy, which so many people, don't think about because you're kind of unconscious. If you think about what the vibe is that you're putting out, and when you are focused on intentionally being an optimistic, joyful person,
Yeah.
you attract so much optimism
So
and
true.
so much joy. You start to see the results in days. And just because energy isn't something that's easily measured, it is
Right.
measured. It's a scientific thing, but it's not like you can see someone's energy field unless you're one of those people.
Yeah.
But it matters. It matters how you operate and what you bring into your life and what you are like, and not to resist what's happening.
Yeah.
What's unpleasant. You accept that, and then you
Mhm.
choose how to behave in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really powerful. In the book, you talk about your growth in your relationships. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you learned about love through your past relationships?
That it just doesn't matter. When you break up with someone, it's not a sad thing. It's okay. You're here to have adventures in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm the relationship I'm in right now is lovely, and I adore this person. But if it were to go away tomorrow, that's not going to take a thing away from me.
That's the key. That's the key, I feel, is knowing, especially when you're in a new relationship, people are like, how do I not put them on a pedestal? It's like, well, just enjoy what you're enjoy that night with them.
Yes.
But
and
don't look forward to like, oh my God, if they were to stop calling me
yes,
tomorrow.
Right. And there's just not like you can't break me. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I'm not breakable. So it's okay if it happens, and it's
Right.
okay if it doesn't happen. I've
I-
still got my shit together.
I love that. And I also feel like that's such a turn on to a man to know that, if he's coming into your life, it's already amazing. So he's just like a cherry on the top.
Yeah. And I'm also at a place like my vibe. I've never been a boy crazy kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
I love men. I love to have sex, obviously. I like a
Mhm.
variety of men. Sometimes I date multiple men at the same time,
Yeah.
not as often as I would like, but but I am not, that is not my purpose in life, is to be someone's wife, or you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
that's a side gig for
Mhm.
me.
But would you ever get married?
I mean, if it were for, who knows? Maybe. I
Right,
don't
right.
know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think about
Like,
that.
never
though.
say never.
Never say never.
Mhm.
I mean, if I needed to get into a country to make an escape,
Right,
maybe.
right. Always a time and a place. What is a non-negotiable for you now in a partner?
Oh, so many things give me the ick. So many things.
Give us your ick list.
Okay. Let's see. Well, there's so many things. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. First of all, you have to have great hygiene. Like I'm very that's disgusting to me.
Yeah,
I am very sensitive to smells. So you have to have great eye hygiene. You have to be like you have to know how to dress. You have to be like cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't be trying too hard. You can't be a narcissist. I don't have anyone in my life who is a narcissist, and I am not a narcissist. And I can't deal with big egos.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's not real. When someone has an ego that is so inflated, you're not dealing with a real person. You're dealing with their ego.
Right. No. Ugh.
So a lot of men are. There's a lot of men with big egos, but there's so many men when you meet someone who doesn't have an ego, it's so attractive.
Totally. But it takes work, I feel like.
Yeah, and some people just have a natural disposition. Like the guy I'm dating is just naturally a good, wholesome kind of guy. And that probably wouldn't have been attractive to me a long time ago. Right. I appreciate that now.
That's a good point.
Very considerate, very caring, and no ego.
Right. It's like there are good ones. We just have to be open to them and look out for them.
Oh, yes. There are definitely good men out there for sure. I believe that. I have so many friends who are married to great men. So I know that's just true.
Right. Yeah, but you have to be open to it. I remember when I was younger, my therapist used to tell me that I always date guys who dip a toe in, she would say, like who weren't fully in it because I wasn't.
Right.
But you don't see that at the time about yourself.
Right. Yeah. That you're not fully committed to something. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And also it's confusing. Like I've gone long periods of time without having a lover or a boyfriend. Like years. I think I once went 3 years, maybe longer. And I remember thinking during those times like, oh, I'm just not going to get this in this life. Like that's not for me. I'm just not the type, I guess. Like, I really believed that. And then I decided, no, actually, I do. And I was okay with it. Like, and then I decided, no, actually, I think I do want someone. And I spoke to this therapist. I was speaking to her for a few months. I was talking to this therapist a couple of years ago. And I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And as soon as I was clear about wanting that, it happened. So it was like I was cock blocking myself.
Right,
you know
right.
I mean?
100%.
Like,
yeah.
And I was in denial of that. I wanted that, I wanted, and I'm not somebody like, I don't want to live with someone. I don't want someone in my space. I really can't spend more than a few days at a time with a man before I need to sleep in bed alone.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much like that. You know?
Right.
So I like your company, but don't overdo it.
Right. But I like the idea of you had that blockage, you recognized it, you spoke it out into the world what you wanted, and that's what you got.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you believe in astrology at all? I know you're Pisces.
Sure, a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Do you ever date people that you're quote unquote compatible with? Or that's not really a thing that you
I don't
about?
know. I mean, I don't even know what the guy I'm dating sign is. I honestly don't know. But I mean, I used to be into that stuff, but then I don't,
I'm curious what your rising and moon signs are.
I think it's like Capricorn something.
It has to be because Pisces are typically known for being like dreamy, head in the clouds.
Yeah.
And I feel
I'm like that though. I'm very dreamy,
okay.
head in the clouds. I can be very like dipsy doodle. I'm like
totally.
blah, 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 blah. I don't know which way is left, right, center.
Right.
I walk like I'm walking like with intention, and I have no idea where the fuck I'm going.
Yeah. Well, I was saying before we recorded that I saw you on the street the other day. You looked like you knew exactly where you were
Right, but
going.
I didn't. I didn't know where I'm going. I'm always going in the wrong direction. Like I think I blame it because I've been driven around so much in my life that I don't have to pay attention to where I'm going because someone picks me up, drops me off. I mean, they treat me like a baby at my house in LA. It's like I have a nanny. I mean, so I am not, I don't know if I would be better if I had never had this lifestyle. You know what I mean? If I had to be more self-sufficient,
no,
I think.
Totally. You also talked in the book about having a shift in how you approach compromise in relationships, which I personally find difficult. How do you find that balance between being true to yourself and bending for a partner? Like the difference between kind of compromising and, settling for something that you
Well, settling or compromising, I think those are two
I
separate.
guess compromising, because settling is the worst.
No,
Settling is a no.
I don't settle. That's
Yeah, yeah.
not. I don't do
Mm-mm.
that. But compromising, I do. I'll compromise out of kindness and decency.
Yeah.
If it's something that means something to someone else,
Right.
then I'm willing to do it. But I'm not giving up. You know what I mean? I'm not. It depends what you're talking about. Like, if it's something I can do as a nice gesture, an act of love, sure, I'll compromise and go to dinner with a bunch of people that I don't want to go to dinner with, or
Right,
whatever.
right,
Not that I don't want to go to you, but I mean,
Yeah,
like, go
yeah,
out of my
of
way to
course. Uh-huh.
be a good girlfriend or
Totally,
whatever.
Totally.
But I don't know. I mean, I need an example of how big of a compromise I would make. Like, I'm not going to go live with someone in a place that I don't want to live
Right,
in.
or like let their mom move in with you.
No.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
happening.
Uh-huh. What's one dating story that didn't make it into the book? I don't know. You have so many, I feel
God,
like.
there are so many dating stories. Let's see. What dating stories do I have? Oh, I have something funny. I was in London for the part of being in London is in the book, but I didn't go through all the guys that I hooked up with when I was
Yeah.
in London, which was a handful.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to dinner with this guy. This is a classic Chelsea story.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I went to dinner with a guy, and we had been talking on Raya for a few weeks, and leading up to it, really gorgeous Welsh guy actually who lived in London.
Ooh.
So we go to dinner. He takes me to this that train station that they converted into a restaurant. I forget what it's called, but anyway, gorgeous dinner. We have an amazing time together. And I said at the end of the thing, I said, "Do you want to take some chocolate mushrooms?" And he was like, "Yeah, definitely." We had talked about like mushrooms had come up during the conversation. I was
Right.
like, "Actually, I have some. Would you
Right,
want
right.
it? Like, this is going great. Why not?"
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think like mushrooms are not an aphrodisiac. That's not a sexual drug. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
That's
right,
not appropriate at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I always love to have a good time. So he was like, "Yeah." So we took mushroom. I go back to my hotel room. And we go in, and he's like lying on the bed, and he's like not making a move or anything. And we're both lying there. I'm like, what's, he's like, "Sorry, I'm just feeling really, really like weird." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I didn't know what that meant. And so we start kissing, and it was just like, it was just gross. Like, it was gross.
Yeah.
The dinner, I could taste the dinner that we had. And I was
Oof.
like, it was just a bad kiss and weird vibes, not the right energy.
Uh-huh.
And he stopped and he's like, "I'm sorry. I think I'm going to be sick. Like, I think I'm going to throw up."
Oh, God.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, I'm going to go for a walk outside. And I was like, "Okay, yeah, go. Okay, sure." He goes for a walk. And I'm upstairs in my room going like, "Oh my God, like, what is the deal?"
Yeah.
And he comes back like 15 minutes later, and he said, I have to go home. He's like, "I'm so high. I just threw up outside,
Oh.
and I have to go home." And I was like, I go, "Oh, of course. Go." And he left my hotel room. And I was telling my friends, and my friends were like, "What are you doing taking mushrooms on a date? You had the dinner. It's all going great. You're going home to hopefully have sex
Right.
with some guy that's hot, and then I'm in London. That's what I'm there for, you know?"
But like, you didn't know that had he not done it
No,
ever?
he had never done it and didn't tell me that. He never
Yeah,
told me
that's
that.
on him.
And of course, I'm fine, because I do
Right.
mushrooms all the time.
No, guys do this. This happened to me a long time ago with weed. Some guy was like, "Yeah, like I smoke all the time." And then we went back to my apartment and smoked a huge joint. And he was like, "I'm not okay."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, I feel like we wouldn't do that as women. Like, we wouldn't be like, "Yeah, like I always smoke," and then just do that. It's not good.
No. So
No.
I don't know what. And then we never saw each other again. And so I
Yeah.
was embarrassed, but I'm sure he was embarrassed. I don't know why I was embarrassed, but I was.
No, I get it, because you're like, what did I do to this person? But he willingly participated and acted as if he
But
had
I mean,
before.
my friends are always like, "You dose everybody. You are, you that is so stupid to do on a first date." And I was like, "Yeah, that in hindsight, it was really stupid." But yeah, that was a pretty stupid dating
But I'm
story.
sure, like, when it hits, and like you do have fun with someone who can handle it.
Yes, of course. I need people also. That's another thing. I can't date anyone who can't handle partying.
Right. It's like a
Like,
litmus test.
If you're a loser when you drink, I'm
Uh-huh.
not interested in that. You can't be
Right.
a drunk. You have to be a person who drinks and keeps their shit together.
Would you ever date someone who's sober? But like,
I don't know.
mhm.
I mean, that's That would be pretty tough. I
Well,
mean,
'cause I feel
drinking is a
like-
big part of my life,
Uh-huh.
especially when I'm on vacation. I love long, languorous lunches, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I love it in Mallorca. I have a summer house there, and I go and we go for these massive bike rides, and we sit and we have 2-hour lunches with white wine and sangria. And, you know, like, that's such a big part of my vacations
Right.
that if somebody didn't drink, it would just, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever dated anyone sober.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's not for me, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know yourself.
Yeah.
And what works for you.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I'm so curious about. Do you want the person you date to be funnier than you, as funny as you, or would you rather be the funny one?
I'm fine being the funny one. Yeah, I think it's better if I'm the funny one. And yeah, it's better if I'm the funnier one.
Are you are we done with comedians, we think?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I've never really dated anyone that was well known before. Well,
Right.
I mean, a couple people.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, duh. I forgot about some of them, but yes. Yeah, I think I'm probably male comedians typically aren't upbeat.
Mhm.
I like upbeat,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. How has learning to set boundaries impacted your relationships? Because through the book, I mean, we learn through you learning, like, you know your boundaries.
First of all, I just want to say that these questions are so delightfully unique and fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting this together in
That's
such a
so
thoughtful way.
nice.
Like, I love these questions.
Thank you.
Boundaries. I have no boundaries. I'm terrible with boundaries. That is one thing that I've not gotten. I mean, I know when to say fuck off to someone and it's
Right.
over. Stop
Right.
talking to me. You're not my friend anymore.
Yeah.
And I've been said that's been said to me as well. You know what I mean? But boundaries, I've never been. Anyone in my life will tell you that I have very thin lines and thin boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, an area I could learn to. I want everyone to be happy around me right away. I want everyone to have what I have and share, and I overdo that all the time, and it bites me in the ass. It has bitten me in the ass several times throughout my life. So I do have a team around me that is very protective because they don't want me to give the house away. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I don't ever want that to change my generosity, because generosity, I think, is like one of my best traits. Is like, I want everyone to have what I have.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to share.
Mhm.
I'm not particular. I don't care. You know, like, if you like my dress, I want to give it to you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to change that about myself.
No, it's an amazing quality.
I wish more people were like that.
I
you know?
agree. Yeah, I'll take your dress. It's really cute.
Thank you. If I had another one on, I would totally be able to give it to you.
But that, by the way, is the Pisces in you, Chelsea.
The-
That's
is
like,
that Pisces?
yes, like, that's so nurturing and warm, and like truly wants everyone to be happy. Like,
Yeah.
you feel the emotions of their
Yes,
sadness.
yes.
If they're
Very,
not.
very empathic. Like, I
Yeah.
can feel people's emotions very easily. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so also in the book, you tell us about getting close to an ex's daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and we know, like, you've been very vocal about being childless by choice. Were you surprised at how nurturing you were to them? Like, was it unexpected to you, or did you always know that you'd be that way to
I guess
kids?
I was surprised by my relationship in the book with the girls, because it was unexpected, and it was talk about no boundaries. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
It was boundaryless, and it was boundaryless because of the circumstances that they grew up in, and it was boundaryless on my part because they needed me, and I wanted to be there for them, and I'm still there for them. Like, I'm
Right.
still close with all of those girls. They're my babies. Like, I would do anything for them, but also, again, I would do anything for almost any woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, anyone who needed me, I would be there for. It could
Right.
be a stranger.
Right. So you have those qualities all, like, in you, but they're not necessarily like mothering qualities. They're just qualities that you have.
Yeah, I would think I'm more of like just like a big sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I want to help you, but yeah, I guess, you know, you could call it maternal. I mean, my sisters always are like, you are so maternal, you don't even realize it. I'm just very yeah, I guess it's maternal. I just have never wanted children, so I don't think of it as
Right.
maternal, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. I also have a sister, and I feel like women with sisters have that, like we could mother each other. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so I imagine if I didn't want kids, but I had a sister, I would still feel some sort of like something from that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's true. I have 2 sisters, and we're all very close. And sisters, to me, it's like I agree. If you have sisters, you understand.
You're taking care of each other.
Exactly.
You also were saying things to your sister that you wouldn't say to anyone ever that are. I saw a TikTok recently that's like, if anyone heard my conversations with my sister, like I would be arrested. It's just you talk so badly about like random people from your hometown.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right. I'm like that with my cousin. My cousin's with me here today, and she's like my sister too.
Yeah.
We're threes. Our family's all threes. We have 3 cousin girls and 3 sisters, and they have 3 kids. They have 3 daughters. My sisters have 3 daughters. So we're all very girly. I mean, we're not girly at all.
Right.
We're very masculine.
Yeah.
But we're all very sisterly to each other, and yeah, I forget what I was just going to say. I don't know.
Something about just like conversations you have.
Oh,
with
the
your sisters.
conversations. Yeah, you can say anything. Of
Right.
course. You're not you don't have to protect you're not trying to impress them.
Totally.
You're not trying to get them to like you.
No. You're quite the opposite. Depending on the mood. Sometimes I try to start a fight. How are you as an aunt?
I'm good. I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
I love all of my ducklings.
Yeah.
There's one conservative duckling, so he's on my he's not on my happy list right now.
He doesn't get the gifts that the other ones get.
No.
Holidays.
We had an interaction. One of my nephews was asking me to come to my Vegas residency. I have a residency in Vegas. Oh, I know what I was going to say on my podcast. On my podcast, when people call in for advice, they call in for, it's called Dear Chelsea, they call in. And whenever sisters call in that are having issues with each other, like I am like so against sisters not speaking.
Oh, totally.
I'm so against that.
Yeah,
like if you have a sister, like I have some friends who don't talk to their sisters, and I'm like, that's just fucked up. That is a reflection of you. Like, too, you have to try to figure shit out with your sister. I understand if it's unreconcilable. I get it. But you have to really, really try to mend fences with your family members when it's possible.
Agree. Yeah, I completely agree. My sister and I could not be more different. We have different opinions on everything. And it definitely took work and therapy. But I put in the work and therapy so that we could have a really great relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she did, too.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, you can't give up.
Oh, I was going to say about my nephew.
Yeah.
So
he said
he was trying to come to my Vegas residency, and this was right before the election. And I said, I know you're on the fence about who you're voting for. Like, I kind of need to know who you're voting for before I give you tickets to Vegas and a hotel room and all the stuff that comes along with that. And he was like, I'm not interested in our relationship becoming transactional. And I'm like, well, this is a transaction.
Right.
You're asking me for something. I don't need anything from you except to know who you're voting for. And if a man in our family is voting for Trump, then like I'm not hanging out with you like with what's on the table.
Right.
I don't want to spend time with someone that did that. And so we haven't spoken since. So that's only one. That's one of my nephews. So
did he gloat after the win?
No, I haven't spoken to him still. Usually I put together a big Christmas vacation for my family, and I didn't do that this year for a variety of reasons, not to punish anyone, but just because I have a really busy year with everything else
of course.
going on, and I just wanted some time alone in Whistler instead of having my 20-member family with me.
Right.
So that was normally when we would reconvene, but we didn't do that this year, and it's probably for the best.
I have a feeling this won't go on too long. Someone's going to apologize. Probably, hopefully him.
I don't know. He's pretty smug about it. And at first I was like, oh, I wonder if he thinks I'm like trying to force him to do something. I'm like, no, I'm not. I need to know what you're doing. Just tell me what,
Right, just own it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I agree. So you talked about not wanting to not wanting someone in your space. So what is your ideal partnership now, right? Like you hang out, but then you go to your own house, or like you do the Gwyneth Paltrow thing where you sleep in different beds, but in the same house.
Oh, does she do that?
She said she did once, but
oh no, we sleep in the same bed. I want to have sex with the person that I'm having sex with. So I'm not into the separate bed thing unless I was like in a marriage.
Right.
I like a few days, together, and then I like a little bit break. I like to be with my friends a lot, and I don't think it's healthy. I mean, for me, it's just I'm not needy at all with that, and I'm with someone who's not needy, and I respect that. That turns me on.
Yeah, I love that. Are you into the good morning, good night text when you're not together?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's nice.
And I always, even when I don't feel like it, I do that because I'm like, no, I just want to be communicative,
Yeah. What would you say to people listening who are still trying to figure out their own relationship needs?
I think communicating, like really being truthful, like you can give somebody really bad news in a careful, considerate way, and it almost becomes not bad news. So like if your needs aren't being met, or if you don't want to meet someone else's needs, like there are so many, when you over communicate, I think that is just like the key ingredient to making everyone feel like they're part of the equation. You know what I mean? Like when you, how do I want to say this? I'm thinking, like I think communication is really important. You have to have self-awareness about who you are and how you come across and what your shortcomings are and what your strengths are, and you have to have somebody who's also really communicative. Like I'm not interested in dealing with somebody who doesn't know how to express themselves emotionally or has trouble handling difficult emotions. I don't have time for that. Like you have to go to therapy and figure out what your problem is. You know what I mean? You have to be able to express yourself and be considerate of others, and I just think everyone needs space. Like don't be so needy all the time. Like people want, and they don't even know what they want. They just think they want you. We have to be together. Like I had a boyfriend who wanted to be together like every single second. And I'm like, why? Like what, you're turning me off. And I would say the same for women. When you really need a guy a lot, I think it has the same impact. You know, you have to have your own shit going on. You have to have your own life and your own interests and your own books to read, and take the time, you know, to enhance yourself as a person. And that's when you become healthy enough to be in a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
You know, when you do the work on yourself to be like, okay, what do I like? What do I like to do? What am I interested in? What are my hobbies? And what, you know, what kind of person do I want to be? Don't you want to be a powerful, empowered woman? Like, I mean, you don't have to be powerful, but don't you want to be empowered?
Right. Yeah. And you should want that. Codependency is so out. It's all about, what is it called? Interdependence.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing right now.
Well, I think interdependence is codependence, isn't it?
No, interdependence is like you're both independent, but you're together.
Oh, okay. I always always thought interdependence was the same as codependent.
I'm confused by it as well, but I've been trying to figure it out. Okay, we're going to do these fun rapid fire questions. These are really silly and just like dumb.
Great.
Your friend unsends a text over iMessage. Is it justified to ask what she unsent?
I wouldn't ask, but noted.
Right.
I've had that happen about me.
Ooh.
I once saw a text about me between my two friends while I was standing, and then it was unsent as I was reading it.
What did they say?
I couldn't. I just said she's in a much better, and then
wait, that sounds positive. She's in a much better place.
Yeah, but it just was. It wasn't appropriate.
I don't like it either.
Yeah,
but at least it wasn't like she's in a bad.
Well, just implying she's in a much better implies that I wasn't a bad.
Rude.
So fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, why are you guys talking to me?
Yeah, it's like when someone's like, "You look so much better."
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. Is it a red flag if a guy prefers to be in doggy most of the time when he's finishing? But sex is normal of the other times. Like it's just like he doesn't want to see your face.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind it, but there should be some other times.
Yes,
when
of
we're
course.
seeing
You can't just
each
always
face.
come and
because then it's like you have to be not seeing me to come. You know?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't think it's about your face.
Right.
But yes, you're right. And no, you shouldn't do one thing all the time sexually anyway.
Right. Totally. If you're in a long-term relationship and live separately, but you're about to move in together, and the guy makes 3 times more than you, how are you splitting rent?
Okay, wait. Long term, he makes 3 times more than me, and how are we splitting rent? He's paying for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can
yeah.
get groceries. Like, why are you?
Yeah, I'm happy. When I have more money than the person I'm dating, I'm happy to pick up the tab on most things.
Right. That's generous. Do you? Okay, I know your answer to this. Do you smile more at dogs or babies?
Dogs.
I knew it.
Yeah, I love dogs. Big dogs.
Yeah, dogs are cute. Babies are cute too. If you were in your early 20s and religion was important to you, would you date someone who wasn't the same religion?
I mean, I can't even imagine being religious.
Right.
But I would assume if it was very important to me, I probably wouldn't. But that I would never be religious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Do you know the song that goes on top of spaghetti all covered with cheese? I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed.
No.
Really?
What song is that?
It's like on top of spaghetti. I don't know.
Where's that from?
I don't know. It's like a song that some people just know.
Is it Cardi B?
It should be. I think it's like a nursery rhyme. Guy uses the hearts around the face emoji in a Venmo payment to you after the first date. Ick, or you can move on.
Venmo is ick. I
Venmo's
don't want
ick.
any Venmos.
Why is he Venmoing you after
I
the first
don't
date?
think I even have a Venmo account. I don't want anyone Venmoing anything to me.
No, no, never Venmo us. Do you think a good guy might need some space because of work and being overwhelmed, or is it doomed? Like he'll tell you, I need some space because of work. Or is he just saying that because he doesn't like you?
Oh, I don't know. I guess, it's weird because space is like, if someone's asking for space, that's usually not a great sign.
Yeah, you got to like run to a different country.
But if somebody does ask for space, give them double.
Oh my God. I always say that. Like totally disappear to the point where they can't even get in touch with you.
Yeah. If someone is saying, please leave me alone, then you should really leave them alone.
Really leave them alone. Okay. Your significant other, who's a man in this situation, has an extremely close relationship with his sister. They text all day. They do long hugs and they kiss a lot when together. He treats his sister very similarly to how he treats his girlfriend. He doesn't talk to anyone else in his family this much, just his sister. Is it fair to be like disturbed by this or just let them be?
I mean, yes, it is fair to find that slightly disturbing, but I mean, it is his sister, so I doubt he's fucking her.
I don't know. I call these brother fuckers.
Oh, really?
It's like, when like there's just, those people who are just.
Yeah, it's annoying
it's like,
for
what
sure.
are you doing?
But it's their sister, so it's like, you don't really have any right to say anything. Like if one of my brothers, actually that has happened in our family. I was supposed to do like a hike with my brother. We were going to go to Mount Kilimanjaro, and his wife ixnayed it, and I thought that was very irritating. I was like, you don't have a right to ixnay our relationship.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, oh, he has a wife now. Like he has to listen to her over me. I didn't like that realization.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least like maybe she just wanted to be invited and she was like mad.
She's not getting. Well, that's not getting her invited to.
Right.
Lots
Exactly.
Of things, so.
It's not the behavior to get invited. Should you follow your significant other's older sister first on Instagram, or should they follow you first on Instagram?
You can follow people first. I don't like the whole follow, whatever. Just go follow them and be a nice person.
Right. This guy cancels a Saturday night date on the Wednesday before it because he's sick. Is he not into you or just trying to give advance notice?
Well, first of all, anyone who's sick on Wednesday and thinks they're still going to be sick on Saturday, that's an ick too. Like, get your shit together.
Oh my God.
Like,
totally.
What if you're fucking? What do you mean?
Men with the sick drama.
No, I don't want to hear about men being sick. I don't like that.
That's the biggest ick of all.
I don't like anything.
Disgusting. But unless this guy has shingles, he's not still going to be sick on Saturday.
Right. Exactly.
So he doesn't like you.
True.
When is the appropriate time for a married person to change their Instagram name? The night of their wedding, the day after, or when it's official?
A married woman?
Yeah.
I mean, are women even changing their names anymore? Their last names?
Yes, they are. And some women get really excited. They do it the night of their wedding.
Well,
that's like,
I find all of that very, very annoying.
It's like, why are you on your phone at your wedding?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I find that extremely annoying.
Mm-hmm. Is it bad luck to save a guy's number when you're newly dating?
No. Oh, that's funny you say that. I've thought about that before.
Because it jinxes it a little.
Oh, yeah. And then it's like, and then when you do put them in your phone, how do you put them in your phone, Yeah, I actually do think it's kind of bad luck to save the number.
Yeah, I agree. You met your boyfriend's friends for the first time and you asked your boyfriend what they thought of you. He told you that his friend said she has a beautiful face. Is this a way of saying your body sucks, or are you overthinking?
I mean, I wouldn't think twice about that. I do have a beautiful face.
Totally. And I don't think that your boyfriend would repeat that to you if that's what he thought that was intended.
And who cares who cares what your boyfriend's friends think of you?
10 dates in and they don't get you a birthday gift. Run or no big deal?
10 dates in?
Mm-hmm.
No, they should get you something.
Yeah.
Just a gesture, a card, a nice note, like it's your birthday. Yeah, to take you out.
Yeah, they got to do something.
I'm not really big on gifts. I don't really like when I get gifts. You know, I feel like I have everything I need, and I'm not a gift person. That's not a demonstration of love. But small gestures I find to be much more romantic.
Plan something for the night or something. You're out to dinner with friends and you leave a little early because you get a bad stomach ache. Should your friends text you after to check in, or should you text after to apologize for leaving early?
Both.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, why are you apologizing? You have diarrhea. Like, it's not your fault.
Well, yeah, you're right. You don't have to apologize, but your friends should check in on you.
Yeah, you could both check in. That's always like, it's not a dance. Like, just like everyone texts each other.
I agree. I'm not into like, like,
especially
what
with
is
friends.
This? What's the hidden meaning behind this?
Yeah, like pick up the phone. Like, hey, my stomach still hurt. I'm still on the toilet. How was dinner? Is 5 dates too soon to invite a guy to brunch with your 2 friends from home and their partners?
I don't think so. It depends what kind of chemistry you've got going on.
Right.
Like if you're hot and heavy, then sure, fuck it.
Yeah. Which type of candy, Kit Kat or Twix?
Twix.
Yeah, me too. Kit Kat doesn't give me everything I need.
No, I agree.
Yeah. You are trying to catch up with a friend you haven't seen in a while, but every time you ask her to catch up, she asks if you want to come over, but you would rather go out. Should you suck it up and go over there, or just like stop trying with this friend?
Yeah, I would go over there.
Is it wrong to accept an Instagram follow request? So like if you were private, let's say on Instagram, from an ex if you're in a relationship?
No, I don't think that's wrong.
Is 5'9" short for a guy?
Yeah.
You know, the average height for a man is 5'9".
I know that. I've looked it up, and I find that short.
I agree. Is a relationship doomed if the girl has way more drive and passion for career and for getting her life in order than the guy?
I don't think so. I think sometimes there's, like there's that flower and gardener, sometimes somebody's the big shot and has a big life, and the other person doesn't necessarily.
But they have to bring something to the table.
Of course.
Yeah. Would you swipe no or like, whatever, say no on a dating app if a guy had a picture with cats?
Yes, I would swipe no.
Yeah, that really disturbs me. I don't like it either. If your significant other is sick, is it rude to ask them not to come over?
I mean, kind of, unless you have to like, it is. That's another thing. Like, you should be okay with being sick around each other. I don't care and you don't care, so whatever.
And then what are you going to do if you get married and move in together? Kick them out of the house when they're sick?
Well, that's a different, I don't know. I mean, it's like if someone was sick and I was like going to host the Critics' Choice Awards the night before, and he was like, sneezing and coughing. I mean, sick is also not that attractive when people are sick. We already talked about men being sick. I don't have a lot of time for it.
Right.
So on that basis, perhaps.
I agree, but if I'm sick, then you better still be seeing me and taking care of me.
Exactly.
If I want that.
Exactly. If I'm sick, there's really no excuse.
Yeah, exactly. This was so much fun. Can you leave us with a quote or piece of advice? Maybe something from the book or just something in life.
Let me think. A quote or a piece of advice. I guess I would say to people to really work hard on forgiveness. To work really hard on forgiving the people that have hurt you in your life, because it will truly set you free.
Yeah.
And then you are open to more and more love when you can forgive.
That's really great.
Yeah.
It's like something my therapist would say. It's amazing. Where can everybody read I'll Have What She's Having?
Where can they read it? It's in my book. My book is out, right? By the time this airs, my book will be out.
Yes.
So all your bookstores, everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. Walmart, Barnes & Noble, indie bookstores, Amazon, wherever you get your books.
Love it.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah. Thank you so much.